In today's show, we unravel the new Mercedes car, which has just been unveiled at Catalunya. We play a friendly game of Guess What Corner That Is. Plus, we give a rundown on the day one events at Catalunya testing. Joining me again, we have Jem Ruggiero.
Hello, Franky.
In the spirit of F1 testing at Catalunya, the footage you're seeing at the moment is me attempting to put down a qualifying lap in the Codemasters game F1 2011. We're going to start something new here at DownUnderSteer. We're going to start running just a simple competition, which will be guess what corner this picture is from. Everyone should know how this game goes, of course. I show you a picture, you tell me what corner it's from. We have no prizes that we can offer for this competition.
And is this a tricky one? We've got a straight with what looks like the start of a right-hander. Although I think what will help people guess this one is the fact that we're going slightly downhill at the moment.
The curious thing there is there's a Lotus actually receiving a blue flag there in this pic.
Oh, yeah. With Sebastian Vettel right behind. So that's probably
right.
The third or fourth time he's seen that blue flag.
So please post your comments on the YouTube video itself, or feel free to send us an email. So let's take a look at this Mercedes then.
So we've been waiting quite a long time for the Mercedes car to arrive. Pretty much the last team to show their car to the world. They've got a fairly standard looking car compared to what else has come out so far this year. The fairly heavily stepped nose, quite a sculpted looking one in this case, which to me even reinforces the fact that it looks like the car has a beak.
I don't think we're seeing anything too crazy here, comparing it to the other cars which have been announced for this year. But the same stepping on the nose, really the actual design of the car does still feel very similar to the 2011 model.
I think that in many ways, actually, it looks like a fairly conservative design. They've sort of gone down the route of barge boards and turning vanes around the entrance to the side pods, which, again, like most 2012 cars, are quite small, and incredibly complicated front wing. Just look at all the little winglets and planes that are built into that front wing.
Schumacher and Ross Brawn have both mentioned that they seem quite happy with the performance so far with the new Mercedes. One thing I think is worth mentioning here, that Mercedes actually did get, I guess, a free day of testing, a private day, if you will, at the Catalunya track. The reason they got that free running time is that because they missed day one of the Jerez testing back in early Feb, they've actually been granted a free day of testing on their own, whereupon they completed around 300 Ks of testing in that new car.
Yeah, and it's a little bit secretive by Mercedes. In fact, they've really been off the grid a bit thus far this season. We didn't see them at the first test. They've done a little bit of a testing by themselves. Now they've finally rocked up at the Spanish test with the rest of the teams. So I guess we'll see how we go from there.
So how do you feel about that move to skip testing and just go straight for the second test at Barcelona? Because I know we did touch on it last episode.
Yes.
That it was a deliberate action from the team to do that.
Yeah, that's right. I think Ross Brawn, even at the beginning of last year, appeared to be prepared to miss the first test. And that's what they've always been saying. They've said that they'd rather spend more development time at the factory and get the car right before they bring it to the track.
We're only about halfway through day one of testing at Catalunya, so it's very early on. However, we did want to get a very short episode out to make sure that we give you guys the lowdown.
Okay, so at lunchtime on day one of the test at Catalunya, rather traditionally, Sebastian Vettel is on top with a time of 1:23.3, which interestingly enough is 2.4 seconds slower than the Red Bull pole time at Catalunya last year, which was achieved by Mark Webber.
We don't want to look too closely into the times around testing, so we're not going to spend a lot of detail on it. But it is interesting to note the comparable times between testing now and pole position last year. The other small thing that we will touch on in regard to the times is around the well-performing Toro Rosso team, which is their current lap. We're looking at a 1:23.6 compared against their fastest qualifying lap last year, set by Buemi at 1:23.2. So only 0.4 of a second slower than their pole lap last year.
That's a fairly significant time, I think. Jean-Eric Vergne was saying just a few days ago that he feels that Toro Rosso is potentially at the head of the midfield. and only been zero point 0.4 of a second off their best qualifying lap last year, suggests to me that Toro Rosso has found some real performance. I mean, I think it's very unlikely that Ricciardo was out there doing low fuel runs, which means that Toro Rosso really maybe do have some decent pace.
That wraps up the show for today. Thank you, Jem, for joining us once again.
Anytime.
Next week, we will announce the winner of the Guess the Corner competition. We'll compare some of the drivers, place some early bets on who we think will win the title trophy this year, and we'll give a bit of a countdown to the Melbourne Grand Prix and continue to build the excitement around that. Just a quick shout out to the Reddit Formula One guys. I do appreciate your support. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you get this news as quickly as possible. I know F1 news does go out of date very quickly. I'll do my best to keep regular updates coming through here. You can find us on Facebook, search for DownUnderSteer, that's one word, or you can email us directly, downundersteer@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening.